Merhaba herkese. Hakan Bey herhalde siz beni yönlendireceksiniz.
Zeynep Hanım başlayabilirsiniz.
Tamam, hemen sunuma başlıyorum o zaman. Çok fazla zaman kaybetmeden sunumumuzu açalım. Merhabalar arkadaşlar. Benim ismim Zeynep Kaptan. Educational Testing Service Türkiye ofisinde geçtiğimiz 5,5 senedir çalışıyorum. Akademi ve kamu ilişkileri müdürü olarak görev yapıyorum. Bugünkü konumuz TOEFL IBT sınavı ve onun geçtiğimiz 2020 yılında çıkarmış olduğu yani Covid konteksti içerisinde çıkarmış olduğu TOEFL IBT Home Edition versiyonu. Hemen hızlıca sunumumuza başlayalım. Sunum çerçevesinde birçok bilgi vereceğim. Aklınızdaki sorulara belki cevap vermiş olabilecek bu slaytlar. Ama elimden geldiğince hızlı bitirmeye çalışacağım ki soru cevap kısmına zaman kalabilsin. Evet. TOEFL IBT sınavımız nedir? Neden TOEFL IBT sınavını almanızı tavsiye ediyoruz? Sınavın içeriği nedir? Hangi bölümlerden oluşur? Nasıl kayıt olunur? Nasıl hazırlanır? Hangi kaynaklar mevcuttur? Bunlardan bahsedeceğiz ve kısaca TOEFL IBT Home Edition sınav versiyonumuz nedir? Ona biraz bakıp sonrasında soru cevap kısmına geçeceğiz. Neden TOEFL IBT sınavı? TOEFL IBT sınavı nedir? TOEFL IBT sınavı bilmeyenler için bilgisayar üzerinden gerçekleştirilen bir İngilizce dil yeterlilik sınavıdır. Dünya çapında 160'tan fazla ülkede 11.500'den fazla kurum tarafından kabul edilir. 4 tane bölümden oluşur. Okuma, dinleme, konuşma ve yazma bölümleri. Tamamen akademik İngilizce test eder ve becerilerin birleştirilmiş halleriyle diyelim integrated question soru tiplerini de göreceğiz zaten. Bu şekilde sorular sormak suretiyle kişinin İngilizce dil yeterlilik seviyesini ölçer. Sınavın sonuçlarını üniversite başvurularınızda İngilizce bölümleri olan özellikle yurt dışında bazı üniversitelerin İngilizce bölümlerine başvurmak için bunlar dışında da eğer başka bir ülkede yaşamayı hedefliyorsanız bu prosedürlerde lisanslama ve Fulbright ve Jamoni gibi bursların başvurularında da kullanabilirsiniz. Neden TOEFL IBT sınavı? TOEFL IBT sınavı İngilizce eğitimini sınıfta nasıl aldıysanız o şekilde test eden tek sınavdır diyebiliriz. Bu anlamda muadillerine göre tamamen farklılık gösterir. Sınıfta nasıl öğreniyorsanız o şekilde sınav olursunuz. Bundan kastımız siz dili kesinlikle ve kesinlikle sadece okuyarak, sadece dinleyerek, sadece konuşarak veya yazarak öğrenmezsiniz. Nasıl ki hocanızdan bir eğitim alırken sınıfta onu dinlersiniz, onun söylediklerini not alırsınız, kendisinin size sorduğu sorulara konuşmak suretiyle cevap verirsiniz. Sınavımızda da aynı şekilde bu şekilde test edilirsiniz. Sınavın özellikle test merkezlerinde sınava giriyorsanız sınav soruları size sınava girdiğiniz saatler aralığında gönderilir test merkezine. O süreç içerisinde gönderilir. Daha sonra merkeze çekilir. Siz sınavı bitirdikten sonra hiçbir data sınav merkezlerinde tutulmaz. Bu anlamda güvenlik anlamında da çok kapsamlı bir sınavdır. Kesinlikle güvenebileceğiniz bir sınavdır. Skorlama sürecinde de aynı şekilde bir ön yargıya tabi olmamanız için Amerika'da ikamet eden skorlayıcılar tarafından sadece sınav sorularına verdiğiniz cevapları dinleyerek veya okuyarak cevap verirler. Sizin kim olduğunuzu, nereden geldiğinizi kesinlikle bilmezler. Bu da sizi ön yargıdan korumak için yapılmış bir şeydir. Tabii ki sınava hazırlık sürecinde bu sınava hazırlanırken size bir kademe daha atlatacaktır ve diğer adaylar arasında fark yaratmanızı sağlayacaktır. Söylediğimiz gibi 11.500'den fazla kurum tarafından kabul edilmektedir. Bunların arasında da çıkabildiğiniz seviye doğrultusunda size bir daha büyük bir şans sağlayacaktır. Sınavın yapısına biraz bakalım. Söylediğim gibi okuma, dinle ve konuşma ve yazma bölümlerinden oluşuyor bu sınav. Her bir bölümden maksimum alabileceğiniz puan 30. Total olarak da 120 üzerinden değerlendirilir sınav. Okuma bölümünde tamamen textbook dediğimiz üniversitede göreceğiniz kitaplardan, yani textbooklardan çıkan paragraflar üzerinden sorular sorulur size. Ama burada kesinlikle alan bilginiz ölçülmez. Bu anlamda hani konteksten çıkarma gibi bir ifade var. İngilizce eğitimi gören herkesin vakıf olduğu. Bu yeteneğinizi geliştirmenizi tavsiye ederim. Özellikle okuma bölümünde başarılı olmak için. Bu bölümde 3 ila 4 tane okuma parçasıyla karşılaşıyorsunuz. Bu her bir okuma parçası içinde cevap vereceğiniz soru sayısı 10. Sınav süresi de 54 ila 72 dakika arasında değişiyor. Dinleme bölümünde 3-4 tane lecture diyoruz. Yani mesela bir hocanın bir ders anlatımını dinliyorsunuz. Bu parçayı dinliyorsunuz. Onunla alakalı 6 tane soruya cevap veriyorsunuz. Ve 2 tane, 3 tane, 2 ya da 3 tane conversation diyoruz. Burada tamamen akademik ortamı simüle ettiği için şöyle düşünün. Mesela bir ödeviniz var. Hocanız size bir ödev vermiş. Bununla alakalı kütüphaneye gidiyorsunuz ve kütüphaneciyle aranızda geçen konuşmayı böyle bir konuşmayı dinliyorsunuz. Onun üzerinden de 5'er tane soru cevaplıyorsunuz. Bu da 41 ile 57 dakika arasında değişiyor bunun süresi. Bundan sonra 10 dakikalık bir aranız var. Konuşma bölümünde 4 tane görev karşınıza çıkıyor. Bunlardan biri independent, 3 tanesi integrated diyor. Independent'ta kasıt işte mesela size bir statement karşınıza çıkıyor. Bununla alakalı ne düşünüyorsunuz diye fikrinizi soruyor. Siz statement'ı anladığınıza dair, görevi anladığınıza dair onu tekrar edip neyi tercih ediniz? Mesela seçim veriliyor size. Neyi tercih ettiğinizi belirtiyorsunuz ve arkasından neden onu tercih ettiğinize dair örnekler veriyorsunuz. 3 tane integrated dediğimizde dediğim gibi hani mesela bir konuşma bölümü okuma parçası önce karşınıza çıkıyor. Onu okuyorsunuz, sonra bir dinleme parçası dinliyorsunuz. Ondan sonra verilen soruya cevap veriyorsunuz. Integrated'den kasıt bu. Yani mesela 3 beceriyi bir arada burada gösterebilmiş oluyorsunuz. Burada süre kısıtlı 17 dakika. Bunu kısa tutmamızın sebebi de bizim sizin hani bir kağıttan not alıp o notlarınızı okumanızı istemiyoruz. Nasıl ki bir sınav ortamında hocanızı dinleyip not alıp ondan sonra arkasından hızlıca cevap veriyorsanız burada doğrudan okumadan fikrinizi beyan etmeniz gerekiyor. Dediğim gibi özellikle dinleme ve konuşma ve yazma bölümlerinde görevin ne olduğunu anladığınızı gösterip onu da verdiğiniz cevabı da örneklendirerek cevap vermeniz gerekiyor. Burada önemli olan bu. Bundan sonra yazma bölümüne geçiyoruz. Yazma bölümünde de 2 tane task var. Biri independent, biri integrated. Bunda bir tanesinde independent'ta essay yazıyorsunuz bildiğiniz üzere. Bir okuma parçası üzerinden. O verilen soruya cevap niteliğinde. Integrated'de de yine bir okuma parçası, bir dinleme parçası ve ikisinin sentezini yapıyorsunuz. Hiçbir soruya cevap vermeden geçmeyin çünkü 4 yanlış bir doğruyu götürüyor gibi bir durum söz konusu değil burada. Mutlaka sorulara cevap verin. Özellikle okuma bölümünde örnek sorular var ETS web sitemizde. O örnek soruların üzerinden mutlaka geçmenizi tavsiye ederim. Dinleme bölümünde standart Amerikan aksanı vardı belli bir süreye kadar ama 2013 yılı itibariyle İngiliz, Avustralya ve Yeni Zelanda aksanları da bunlara eklendi. Benim size tavsiyem farklı aksanlara aşinalık yaratmaya çalışın hazırlık sürecinizde. Voice of America diye bir web sitesi var. Burada farklı örneklerden yararlanabilirsiniz. Kesinlikle. Bu arada şunu da söyleyeyim. Sınavın Türkiye'deki ücreti $185 ve geçerliliği 2 sene. Bunu da bilmekte fayda var. Buralarda çok fazla kalmayacağım. Süremizi de çok fazla aşmamak adına ve size soru sorabilmeniz için zaman vermek adına. İşte okuma bölümünde az çok size anlattığım gibi daha ziyade size verilen materyallerde hani alan bilgisinden ziyade konteksti anlayabiliyor musunuz? Çıkarımlarınızı doğru yapabiliyor musunuz? Bu test ediliyor. Burada göreceğiniz pasajlar hani okuma parçaları standart 700 kelime civarında ve bunlarla ilgili 10'ar tane soruya cevap veriyorsunuz. Çok okuma yapmanızı tavsiye ederim. Kelime bilginizi de, dağarcığınızı da artırma bu noktada size destek olacaktır. Dinleme bölümünde dediğim gibi burada hani nasıl ki iki insan konuşurken onların ses tonlamasından, vücut dillerinden bir şey çıkarmaya çalışıyorsunuz ya, ses tonlamalarından bir çıkarım yapmanız gerekebilir. Tam olarak neyi kastettikleri, oradan yani bir şey söylerken attitude'larına, yani nasıl söylediklerine bakmanız gerekiyor. O yüzden dediğim gibi aşinalık yaratmanız bu anlamda çok önemli. Bunları da hızlıca geçiyorum. Bu arada konuşma bölümünde benim size tavsiyem, kendinizi zamanlayarak bu bölüme hazırlık yapabilirsiniz. Örnek sorulardan faydalanabilirsiniz ETS web sitesindeki. Bu sorulara kendinizi zamanlayarak cevap verip hem sınıf arkadaşlarınızla paylaşıp üzerinden bir tartışma yapabilirsiniz. Ya da hocalarınıza götürüp onlardan değerlendirmelerini isteyebilirsiniz mutlaka. Yazma bölümünde bu arada bilginiz olsun, hani TOEFL programı capitalization gibi şeyleri çok fazla takılmıyor. Sonuçta zamana karşı yarıştığınız için burada dilin ne derece efektif kullandığınızı görmek istiyoruz. Dediğim gibi görevi anlayıp anlamadığınızı gösteren cevaplar verip bağlaçları vesaire, mesela bunları hani daha çok kullanırsanız daha güzel puanlar alabilirsiniz diye düşünüyorum. TOEFL IBT sınavı nasıl skorlanıyor? Sınav sonunda belli bir süre önce, bu yeni geliştirilen şeylerden bir tanesi, okuma ve dinleme bölümlerinden aldığınız sonuçlar çoktan seçmeli sorulara dayandığı için bu sonuçları sınav sonunda görüntüleyebileceksiniz. Daha sonra yazma ve konuşma bölümlerinden tabii ki dediğim gibi skorlayıcılar, hani insan skorlayıcılar ve tabii ki yapay zeka teknolojisinden de yararlanılarak daha sonra sizi görmeden etmeden sadece sınav sorularına verdiğiniz cevaplara istinaden bunları skorlayıp bu skorlar eklendikten sonra size sonuçlar ulaşıyor. Her bir bölümden dediğim gibi maksimum alabileceğiniz puan 30. Yine 120 üzerinden hesaplama yapılıyor. Dediğim gibi lütfen soruların hepsine cevap verin. Hiçbirini bırakmadan geçin. Sınav sonuçlarını size ETS web sitesi üzerinden oluşturduğunuz hesap içerisinden görüntüleyebiliyor olacaksınız. Bu hesabı yani sınava yakın zamanda girmeyecek olsanız bile mutlaka oluşturun derim ben size. Şimdiden hesabınız hazır olur. Sonra kendinizi göstereceğim kaynaklar üzerinden hazırladıktan sonra hesap üzerinden, çünkü bütün bu işlemler hesap üzerinden yapılacak. Hesabınızda TOEFL IBT sınavına girdikten 6 gün sonra sınav sonucunuzu görüntüleyebileceksiniz. Onunla ilgili size bir e-mail gelecek. Sınav sonuçlarınız hazır diye siz de hesabınıza girip buradan görüntüleyebileceksiniz. İndirip çıktısını alabileceksiniz sonuçlarınızı. Bu TOEFL IBT Home Edition için biraz daha farklı olabilir. 6 ila 10 gün içerisinde değişebiliyor onun size ulaşması. Hesabınıza giriş yapacaksınız ve buradan rahatlıkla skorlarınızı görüntüleyebileceksiniz. Dediğim gibi 2 yıllık geçerliliği var sonuçlarınızın. MyBest Score'dan bahsetmek gerekirse bu çok önemli bir özellik ve kesinlikle başvuru yapmayı planladığınız kurumların MyBest Score'unu kabul edip etmediğine mutlaka bakmanızda fayda var. Bu skorlar nedir? Daha ziyade Kanada ve Amerika'da çok sıklıkla kullanılan bir ifade olan super score ifadesi. şunu kastediyor. Standart, yani bölümleri olan standart bir sınavdan geçerliliği süresi içerisinde birden fazla kez aldıysanız bu bölümlerden en yüksek göstermiş olduğunuz performansın kenara çekilip bunun toplamının alınmasına super score deniyor. My Best Score da bu anlamda TOEFL IBT sınavının super skorunu ifade ediyor. 1 Ağustos 2019 yılı itibariyle bu özellik sınav sonuç belgelerine entegre edildi. Eğer geçtiğimiz 2 sene içerisinde, geçerlilik süresi içerisinde birden fazla kez TOEFL IBT sınavını aldıysanız sınav sonuç belgenizde bunu görüntüleyeceksiniz. Biz burada neyi kastediyoruz? Yani şimdi buradan az çok hani tam anlamıyla ne olduğunu görmeniz için bir örnek gösteriyorum. Mesela bir aday 2 tane sınava girmiş geçerlilik süresi içerisinde. Birinci sınavda özellikle okuma ve dinleme bölümlerinden daha yüksek performans göstermiş. 30 üzerinden okumadan 20 almış, dinlemeden 22 almış. Bunları aldık kenara. İkinci tarihinde de test tarihinde de dinleme ve konuşma ve yazma bölümlerinden daha yüksek performans göstermiş. Farkındaysanız birinci test tarihinde toplam 76, ikinci test tarihinde 78, My Best skorun hesaplamasına göre de 81 puan almış. Şimdi biz burada aslında adayları hani ilk görünüşte adayları sanki birden fazla kez sınavı almaya teşvik ediyormuş gibi gözükebilir ama aslında bunun temelinde tamamen şu yatıyor. Educational Testing Service 1947 yılında kurulmuş, aslında tamamen değerlendirmeler, sınavlar üzerine araştırmalar yapan, kar amacı gütmeyen bir kurum. Bu anlamda eğitime katkı sağlamak isteyen bir kurum. Bu anlamda mesela My Best skoruyla aslında daha fazla sınav alımını teşvik etmektense adayın daha az sınava girmek suretiyle hedefine daha hızlı ulaşmasını sağlamaya çalışıyor. İnanın ben de kendim şahsen şahit oldum. Mesela bir kurum mesela 90 istiyor. Bir aday o 90'a ulaşana kadar 15 kez sınavı almış olabiliyor. Biz adaya diyoruz ki bunu 15 defa almak durumunda değilsin. Aslında bu bizim hani kar amacı güden tarafımızla ters düşen bir şey. Ki öyle bir durum yok. Hani iktisadi teşekkürlerimiz tabii ki var ama amacımız orada adayı hedefine daha kolay ulaştırmak ve aynı zamanda kurumlara da kaliteli aday havuzunu genişletme fırsatı sunuyoruz bu şekilde. Ne demek istiyorum? Mesela bir kurum 80 üzerinden almış bu zamana kadar tüm adayları. Bütün diğer kriterleri çok güzel bir şekilde karşılayan fakat 78 veya 79'da kalan bir adayı alamıyor, kabul edemiyor. Biz de bu dilemmadan onu kurtarmış oluyoruz bu şekilde. Mutlaka başvuru yapmak istediğiniz kurumlara My Best skorunu kabul ediyor mu etmiyor mu diye bakın lütfen. Evet, skorlar nasıl görüntüleniyor sınav sonuç belgenizde? Gördüğünüz gibi, sağda gördüğünüz gibi şu 2 tane kutucukta, soldaki kutuda en son raporlamayı tercih ettiğiniz sınav sonucuyla sağ tarafta da My Best skorlarını görüntüleyebiliyorsunuz. Nasıl göndereceksiniz skorlarınızı bu kurumlara? Bahsettiğim 11.500'den fazla kurum bizim score user'larımız olarak geçiyor. Bunların her birinin birer kurum kodu var. Bu kurum kodları ETS'nin web sitesinde mevcut. ETS'nin web sitesinden başvuru yapmayı planladığınız kurumlara bulup onların kurum kodlarına ulaşabilirsiniz. Bunu söylememin sebebi ETS adaylara her bir yani sınava girerken, kayıt olurken 4 tane kuruma ücretsiz sınav sonuç belgesi gönderim hakkı tanıyor. Siz bu sınav sonuç belgelerinizi günün sonunda bu kurumlara gitmeyecek olsanız bile kullanın diye tavsiye ediyorum. Zira sonrasında sınavı aldıktan sonra başvurduğunuz her bir kurum başına ek bir ücret ödemek durumunda kalıyorsunuz. Zannediyorum $20 gibi bir şey olması lazım. O yüzden bu size verilen hakkı mutlaka kullanın. Bunu nasıl kullanacaksınız? Kayıt olurken bu bahsettiğim kurum kodlarını gönderim yapmayı istediğiniz kurumlar olarak listeleyeceksiniz. Buraya yazacaksınız. Bu şekilde gönderim sağlayabiliyorsunuz. Biz kurumların hiçbirine karışmıyoruz. 120 üzerinden kaç puan isteyeceklerine kendileri karar veriyorlar. Bu yüzden sınava kurumlara başvurmadan önce sizden tam olarak neyi talep ettiklerini öğrenmenizde fayda var. My Best School için söylediğim gibi. Nasıl kaydoluyoruz? Daha hızlı bir kayıt sistemi, daha kolay kullanımı size temin etmek adına TOEFL Official App uygulamasına telefonunuza ücretsiz olarak indirebilirsiniz. Hem App Store'dan hem de Google Play'den bulabilirsiniz bunu. Buradan kayıt olabiliyorsunuz rahatlıkla. Google Maps özelliği entegre edilmiş. Buradan test merkezlerine ulaşabiliyorsunuz. Aynı zamanda resmi test hazırlık, sınav hazırlık materyallerine de buradan ulaşabiliyorsunuz. Mutlaka rahatlıkla indirebilirsiniz. Nasıl kaydoluyorsunuz? ets.org/mytoefl adresinden kendinize bir hesap oluşturuyorsunuz. Burada önemli olan bu zannediyorum 15 dakika falan sürüyor. Çok fazla zamanınızı almayacak. Burada önemli olan kesinlikle ve kesinlikle kayıt yaparken kullandığınız kimlikle sınava giderken yanınızda götüreceğiniz kimliğin aynı olması buradaki identification şartlarını çok doğru bir şekilde sağlamanız gerekiyor. Sonrasından problem yaşamamanız için. Aynı zamanda ETS engelli adaylarımıza da sınavda bazı rahatlıklar sağlayabiliyor ama bunları temin edebilmesi için sizin sınava başvurmadan daha çok önce bu taleplerde bulunmanız gerekiyor ETS'den. Bunun için bilgileri de şu gördüğünüz linkten temin edebilirsiniz. Nasıl oluşturuyorsunuz hesabınızı? İşte girdiğiniz zaman ets.org/TOEFL'dan böyle bir ekran göreceksiniz. Halihazırda hesabınız varsa kullanıcı adınız ve şifrenizle giriş yapabilirsiniz. Yoksa New Users kısmından yeni bir hesap oluşturuyorsunuz. Profilinizi nasıl oluşturuyorsunuz? Daha doğrusu buradan neleri kullanabiliyorsunuz? Account'unuzu oluşturduğunuz zaman lokasyonunuzu, bu sınav sonuç belgelerinizi göndereceğiniz kurumların bilgilerine koyabiliyorsunuz, yerleştirebiliyorsunuz. İşte buradan temin edebiliyorsunuz. Ondan sonra dediğim gibi IBT Home Edition için 6 ila 10 gün içerisinde sınav sonuçlarınız geliyor. Test merkezinden aldıysanız 6 güne kadar elinize ulaşıyor. Buradan sınav sonuç belgelerinizi görebileceksiniz. Sınav tarihinizi buradan değiştirebiliyorsunuz isterseniz. Ekstra sınav sonuç belgesi talebinde buradan yine bu hesap üzerinden talebinde bulunabiliyorsunuz. Bilgilerinizi değiştirirken şunu unutmayın, kesinlikle kendi isminizi ve doğum tarihinizi siz kendiniz değiştiremiyorsunuz. Bunu customer service üzerinden yapmanız gerekecek. Bunun dışında diğer değişiklikleri kendiniz bu hesap üzerinden yapabileceksiniz. Test lokasyonunu seçim de çok rahat. Ülkeyi seçiyorsunuz, ülkeden sonra şehri seçiyorsunuz, tarihi buradan belirliyorsunuz ve arkasından size opsiyon olarak çıkan test merkezlerini buradan rahatlıkla seçebiliyorsunuz. Identification requirements dediğim gibi kesinlikle ve kesinlikle kayıt olurken kullandığınız kimlikle test merkezine gitmeniz gerekiyor. Yanınızda mutlaka ikinci bir kimlik götürmenizde fayda var. Mesela pasaportunuzla kaydolduysanız pasaportunuzu mutlaka götürün. Yanınızda mesela Türk kimliğinizi de bulundurmanızda fayda var. Bunları yapamazsanız şayet kesinlikle sınava alınmama ihtimaliniz var. Bu şekilde sınav ücretiniz de size geri ödenmez. Yani bu riskleri almış oluyorsunuz bu söylediğim şeyleri yapmazsanız. Mutlaka bu şartları güzel bir inceleyin. Arkasından buna göre davranın. Mutlaka emin olmanız gerekiyor. ID kısmı çok önemli. Tekrar altını çizerek söylüyorum. Hazırlık süreci. Şimdi bizim TOEFL MOOC diye bir ücretsiz online kursumuz var. Bunu ETS sınavı hazırlayan profesörlerimiz çalışanlarımızın da yer aldığı böyle bir self-paced yani kendinize göre planlayabileceğiniz bir kurs temin ediyor. Bu EDX platformu üzerinden verilen bir kurs. İnteraktif bir ortam. Burada sorularınızı da sorabiliyorsunuz. Hatta bir tanesi şu anda bugün başlıyor. Bu link üzerinden bu TOEFL kursuna kaydolabilirsiniz. Mutlak surette katılmanızı tavsiye ederim. Bunun dışında yine ücretsiz kaynaklarımız var. Ücretsiz bir deneme testimiz var. Mutlaka bilgisayarınızı indirin. Tekrar alabilirsiniz bu sınavı. Arkasından practice setlerimiz var. Test prep planner'ımız var PDF formatında. Bu size 8 haftalık bir çalışma programı sunuyor. Mutlaka bunlardan faydalanın. Onun dışında ücretli tabii ki hazırlık materyallerimiz de var ama benim sizlere tavsiyem öncelikle ücretsiz kaynakları bir tüketin. Arkasından gerçekten ihtiyacınız olduğunu düşünürseniz ücretli kaynaklara başvurabilirsiniz. Bunların arasında en çok öne çıkan benim için TOEFL Practice Online, sınavın birebir simülasyonu, deneme testi. Bunu evden veya okulunuzun laboratuvarından çok rahatlıkla alabiliyorsunuz ve ETS size feedback gönderiyor. Yani hani ne durumdasınız, puanınız vesaire. Yani o anlamda da simüle ediyor gerçek testi. Bunlardan faydalanabilirsiniz isterseniz. TOEFL Go Global Official app'imiz var. Burada hazırlık materyallerine çok rahatlıkla ulaşabilirsiniz. Bunu da App Store'dan ve Google Play'den çok rahatlıkla indirebilirsiniz. Soru tiplerini görebilirsiniz vesaire. Ne tür kaynaklarımız var? TOEFL Destination Directory, dediğim gibi ETS'nin web sitesinden bu kurum kodlarına ulaşmak için hangi kurumlar TOEFL IBT sınavına kabul ediyor dünya çapında, onları bulmak, görmek isterseniz buradan faydalanabilirsiniz, bu direktörden. Facebook sayfamız var. Instagram sayfamız var, LinkedIn sayfamız var. Bunları mutlaka takip edin. YouTube kanalımız var. YouTube kanalımızda çok güzel tipler veriliyor. Bu tiplerden faydalanabilirsiniz. Özellikle bu YouTube kanalımızda ulaşabileceğiniz önemli bir kaynak Inside the TOEFL Test video serisi. Buradan çok güzel bilgilere ulaşabilirsiniz. Bir newsletter'ımız var. Buna kaydolabilirsiniz düzenli bilgi almak için. Emin olun e-mailinizi bir sürü bilgiyle dolduran bir şey değil, newsletter değil. Mütemadiyen tabii ki belirli aralıklarla TOEFL programında, TOEFL'da sınavlarında bir değişen, güncellenen şeyler olduğunda buradan da bilgi sahibi olabilirsiniz. Şimdi hızlıca TOEFL IBT Home Edition'a bakacağız. Bakalım, süre olarak da iyi gidiyoruz gibi gözüküyor. TOEFL IBT Home Edition tabii ki Covid kontekstinde ilk olarak geçici bir çözüm olarak ortaya çıktı. 2020 yılında Nisan ayında diye hatırlıyorum. Size sunulan bir alternatif sınav versiyonu, aslında hiçbir farklılık arz etmiyor. Fakat yani tabii ki farklılıkları var ama aynı sınav deneyimi tamamıyla. Planlarınızı ertelememeniz için size destek olması amacıyla çıkartılmış bir versiyon. Adından da anlaşılacağı gibi evden aldığınız bir sınav. Nasıl aynı içerik, aynı format, aynı ekran deneyimi, My Best Score gibi özellikleri ya da işte okuma ve dinleme bölümlerinden skorları, yani sonuçları sınav sonrasında nasıl görüntüleyebiliyorsanız diye ana versiyonda bunda da görüntüleyebiliyorsunuz. Aynı ücret, aynı ödeme sistemi, aynı skorlama veya sonuç bildirimi vesaire, hepsi aynı. Farklılıkları, yani hazırlık şeyi de aynı bu arada. Aynı kaynakları kullanarak hazırlanıyorsunuz. Tek farklılığı evinizden alıyor olmanız ve aynı zamanda kendi ekipmanınızı kullanarak bu sınavı alıyor olmanız. Bir de sınavı baştan sona online bir gözetmen eşliğinde tamamlanıyor. Yapay zeka teknolojisinde desteğiyle tabii ki. Bu şekilde sınavı alıyorsunuz. Ne zaman alabilirsiniz sınavı? Haftanın 4 günü 7-24. bu sınavı alabiliyorsunuz. O anlamda opsiyonlarınız çok fazla. İran hariç dünya çapında her yerde, yani TOEFL IBT sınavının olduğu her yerde bu sınav versiyonu da mevcut. Tabii ki belli teknik altyapıyı sağlamanız gerekiyor. Desktop veya laptopunuz olması lazım. Yani tablet veya cep telefonundan sınava giremiyorsunuz. PC veya Mac olabilir. Chrome veya Firefox tarayıcılarını kullanarak da bu sınavı alabilirsiniz. Şimdi burada dahili veya harici bir mikrofon, dahili veya harici bir speaker'ınız olması gerekiyor sınavı almak için. Zira normal test merkezlerinde olduğu gibi bir kulaklıkla sınava girmiyorsunuz. Kulaklık kullanılması bu noktada yasak. Daha sonra hani kamerayla alakalı burada da bilgiler veriliyor ama ben bunların üzerinde çok fazla durmayacağım. Zira siz sınava girerken bir sistem çeki yaptırmanız gerekiyor. Bunu çok rahatlıkla göreceğiniz web sitesinden yapabilirsiniz. Yani sizin ekipmanınız bu sınav versiyonunu almaya müsait mi değil mi anlayabileceksiniz. Yine dediğim gibi accommodation, bu engelli adaylarımıza sunduğumuz şeyler bu sınav versiyonu için de geçerli. Ama tabii ki bunu daha evvelden başvurusunu yapmanızda fayda var. Bilmeniz gereken dediğim gibi bilgisayarınızı hazırlamanız lazım. Kayıt süreci aynı şekilde aynı sistemle yapılıyor. Sadece IBT değil de Home Edition versiyonu seçeceksiniz. Kendi time zone'unuza göre sınavı tarihini ve saatini belirleyeceksiniz. Ondan sonra tabii ki kaydınızı tamamlayacaksınız. Çok da üzerinde durmaya gerek yok. Test tarihinde tabii ki odanızın böyle çok dağınık olmaması lazım. Masanızın üstünün boş olması gerekiyor. Kesinlikle. Mesela su içecekseniz bile suyun etiketinin alınması lazım vesaire. Bu tür standart talepler söz konusu. Bunların hepsini web sitesinde görüntüleyebilirsiniz. Kimliğiniz yanınızda olacak. Ya bir ayna ya da telefonunuzun ekranıyla sizden laptopunuzun tamamını göstermenizi isteyecek gözlemci. Daha sonra kapatıp koyduğunuz yerde göstermeniz lazım telefonu. Odanın dışına çıkması gerekiyor bildiğim kadarıyla. Burada hani not alırken farklı bir sistem var. Normal şartlarda test merkezlerinde size birkaç tane kağıt veriliyor. Onların üzerine not alıyorsunuz ama bunda silinebilir bir beyaz tahta küçük. Onun üzerine yazı not alabiliyorsunuz ya da şeffaf bir dosyanın içine beyaz kağıt koyup yazı yazıp silebilir bir kalemle yazı yazıp sonra sınav sonunda bunları gözlemcinin önünde silmeniz gerekiyor. Böyle. Yine bu istiyorsanız bakabilirsiniz. Yani bunların hepsine çok dediğim gibi fazla üzerinde durmayacağım. Sınav sonuçlarınız IBT oranla biraz daha dediğim gibi farklı 6 ila 10 gün içerisinde ulaşıyor size. Yine bu sınavın da geçerli 2 sene. Bunlar da özellikle Home Edition ile alakalı ulaşabileceğiniz web siteleri. Beni dinlediğiniz için teşekkür ediyorum. Burada çok önemli bir noktayı atlamamış olmak adına söyleyeyim istedim. Türkiye'de TOEFL IBT sınavının YDS sınavına eşdeğerliği var. Bu eşdeğerlik çerçevesinde dolayısıyla tüm üniversiteler nezdinde %100 oranda kabul edilen bir sınav. Ama bu anlamda bu çerçevede ÖSYM'nin yani eğer sınav sonucunuzu eşdeğerlik çerçevesinde ülke içerisinde kullanacaksanız bir ön şartı var. Bu ön şartta bu sınavı bir devlet üniversitesi test merkezinden almanız gerekiyor. Home Edition sınavı an itibariyle bu eşdeğerlik çerçevesinde kabul edilmiyor. Fakat buna rağmen bazı prestijli üniversiteler, Boğaziçi, ODTÜ, Bahçeşehir Üniversitesi gibi, bu liste biraz daha uzuyor tabii ki. Bazı üniversiteler senato kararlarıyla Home Edition versiyonunu da kabul ediyorlar. O yüzden genel çerçevede başta söylediğim gibi hangi kuruma başvurmayı düşünüyorsanız onların şartlarının tam olarak ne olduğunu önceden öğrenmenizde fayda var. Benim Şimdilik söyleyeceklerim bu kadar. Ben şöyle, evet, sunumu bitirdim. Herhangi bir soru varsa buradan alabilirim. Eğer yoksa Hakan Bey'in söylediği kadarıyla herhangi bir soru yokmuş. Eğer sorunuz yoksa o zaman sizleri ben şeye davet edebilirim, standımıza. Virtual bir standımız var. Bu standta bizzat da konuşabiliriz. Sorularınıza cevap verebilirim. Tamamen size kalmış. Evet, ben burada zaten bu chat üzerinden bir soru görmüyorum Hakan Bey. Rica ederim. Siz o zaman bitirelim derseniz tamam. Teşekkür ederim Hakan Bey her şey için.
Hello, marhabalar, and günaydin to everybody. Thank you for having me here today to speak to you a little bit about the University of Limerick in the southwest of Ireland. So I'm actually here for the in-person fairs as well, so hopefully might get to meet some of you. And I will share my slides here so that you can see a little bit more about Limerick. So I am Kira Halliday and I am the International Recruitment Manager for Europe. So if ever following this you have any questions, I'll be your point of contact in the University of Limerick. So some of you may have thought before about studying in the UK, but my job is to tell you a little bit more about Ireland and why maybe we would be a good option for you for your future studies. So, just to give you a sense of the world, we like to think in Ireland that we're right in the centre of it. So, as you can see, we're marked on the map there. We have the US, North and South America to the west of us, and then we are a gateway to the rest of Europe, as we like to say. So it says there London's about an hour flight away, but really it's even less than that. And Istanbul is about a 4 hour flight away, just to give you a point of reference. So, why Ireland as a place of study? We as a country are very safe, friendly, and a very welcoming environment to international student workers and visitors alike. From the time I've been here in Turkey the last week or so, I think there's actually a lot of similarities between Turkish people and Irish people. We all very much love tea. And chatting. We're all very curious about where people have come from and what they do, so it's really nice to be able to engage in conversation with each other. Um, in terms of conversation, we're the largest English speaking country in the Eurozone. There's only Ireland and Malta who use the Euro and speak English. And we have a high quality education system which is recognized globally for its academic quality. As I mentioned, in terms of the map, we're very globally connected. So we kind of like to think we're right in the middle, but we are very much a gateway to Europe. And over 1,500 multinational companies actually have their European headquarters based in Ireland because we're a good go between North America and the rest of the world. In terms of natural beauty, there's breathtaking landscapes in Ireland from cliffs to the sea to caves, and lots of cute little villages and towns to explore as well. Part time work in Ireland, I'll go into it in a little bit more detail, but while you're students, you can work. And then when you are finished your degree, you have the option to stay on and work back in Ireland with a stay back visa. Excuse me. So that's a little bit about Ireland, but why specifically would you come to study with us in Limerick in the southwest of Ireland? So, as you can see on the east coast, there is Dublin, our capital city, and the University of Limerick is here in the southwest. Limerick is Ireland's third largest city, with a population of about 100,000 in the city centre, and then about another 160,000 outside of that in the rest of the county. 50% of the population are under the age of 35. So it's a really young and vibrant place to live and to work and to study. As it says there, it's at 25,000. It's actually even higher than that. Our students, because there's our University of Limerick, there's also another university in Limerick. So big student population. Then, in terms of the map, Limerick is a prime base from which to explore the rest of Ireland. So, we're only less than a 3 hour drive to Dublin on the east coast, and we're 2 hours to Galway just above us, and 2 hours or so to Cork just below us. So, lots of buses that run through the campus, and I'll go into it again later. But our international society are great for organising trips, so you get to see other cities around Ireland. We are also just 30 minutes from Shannon International Airport. Unfortunately, there's no flights yet to Turkey, but they are looking at adding additional flights and very easy flights from there to the UK and the US. So Limerick itself is known as the Treaty City. It's also another very friendly and safe riverside city. So you can see a little bit of it there in the background. What we like to say about Limerick is that you're not compromising on anything. It has all of the markets, restaurants, art gallery, museum, but at a lower cost of living than it would in Dublin, the capital city, of course. So, Ireland, literally within Limerick, there's a medieval castle, and right beside it, you have a big mural of the Cranberries, Dolores O'Riordan, the singer. And then if you follow down those little windy streets, you end up in the more modern part of the city, which has the businesses, the offices, and again, the restaurants, cafes. Outside of the fairly compact city centre, it's also very green around Limerick. So that's something which locals and internationals alike love, that it's so close to be able to mountain bike, fish, walk. Hiking is very big in the area. And also, if you don't want to get buses or drive, you can actually follow the river the whole way from the city centre out to the University of Limerick campus. So that's the longest river in Shannon, in Ireland, the River Shannon, and it flows right from the city centre through the UL campus. So just to give you a couple of facts around UL, we are ranked in the Times Higher Education Young University World Ranking in the 100 to 150 category. 96% of our graduates are either in a job or in further studies within 6 months of graduating from the University of Limerick. So we're very proud of our employability rate. And this, in a huge part, is down to when you do your bachelor's with us, it's 4 years. But as part of that, you do a paid work placement program for 6 to 8 months. So as you can see there, there's over 2,000 organised every year. That's related to your area of study. And it just means that employers then, when they see the University of Limerick on your CV, they know that you've actually already got some practical hands-on work experience that you've gained during your time studying at UL. If anybody's interested in the business, economics, management side of things, our Chemie Business School is actually ranked in the top 1% of business schools in the world, and was recently triple accredited. For a grander overview, we have a population of 17,000 students at the University of Limerick. 3,000 of those are international students, and over 100 countries are represented. As you can see there, our staff population as well, almost 400 of those are international faculty. These are more just at a glance, but you can see in the background gives you a little bit of an idea of the campus, which is a huge 366-acre campus, very similar to an American style campus, with each of our faculties having their own building. And then we have on campus accommodation. So in the top right there, you can see one of our student villages. In the center is our main building. Bottom right is the River Shannon, as I mentioned, running right through. And then further to the back is the business, arts, and engineering buildings. So, as I said, 17,000 students and 100 countries represented. And then 8 villages. So, 5 of them would be very much on the campus in the center. And then the other 3 are about a 20-minute walk from campus. Because it's such a large campus, many students will actually get a bicycle while they're here, because it's a lot easier for traveling between your accommodation and your classes if they're spread out. And for those of you interested in science and engineering, we have 429 labs on campus, which are all state of the art and have high tech and specialist facilities. So, as I mentioned, we do have accommodation. Of the 17,000 students that are at the University of Limerick, not all of these will be on campus at the same time. Obviously, some of them are local Irish students who won't live on campus. Over 2,000 will be doing their work placement each year. And then we also are highly engaged in the Erasmus study abroad program. So many of our students will go away throughout their studies to study in another European university. So 3,000 spaces on campus is actually a very good amount in terms of accommodation. All of our rooms are single occupancy, so there's no shared bedrooms. Then you share your living space, your TV room, and your kitchen with other students. Where they're starting between €4,600 for the year, you would also be sharing a bathroom with a number of other housemates. As you begin to pay more, then you have less housemates and ensuite bathroom options. All of our villages have a 24-hour security and live-in managers. So if you ever have any issues with your bills or your electricity or trying to find something, they're there to help you. So, for anyone who's already applied to the University of Limerick or is going to, hopefully, in the next few weeks and months, our accommodation portal is now open. So, once you have a conditional offer from the University of Limerick, you can apply to live on campus. And I've left the link there in the presentation, and I'll add this to my booth afterwards for anybody who'd like to come by. And that's just another couple of pictures from around the campus. Again, the fountains, the river. But what we do like to say is because it's such a large campus and situated just outside of the city centre, is that it's very much a community within itself. UL feels like its own little town. And as we're close to residential areas, local people would also come to walk with their children, with their dogs, with their families, fishing, and just spending time nearby the river. I'll also go into the student supports in a little bit. But UL is also known as Ireland's sporting campus. So, for those of you who are sporty and enjoy either trying new sports or want to continue playing whatever you play, we have a huge sports arena with basketball and volleyball, outdoor pitches for all other sports. We have an Olympic sized swimming pool, Olympic sized diving pool, Olympic sized running track, um, and all facilities that you might want in terms of sports, including Ireland's highest climbing wall, which was recently finished. So then, in terms of the further supports outside of that, we have a nurse, a doctor, counsellor, chaplain, disabilities office. They are all on campus. One nice new thing that we kind of have in place is the Campus Connect mobile app. So once you get your conditional offer to study at the University of Limerick, you're added to this app. And it's kind of like using WhatsApp group messages. So you can join a group for life in Limerick to find out about Limerick. You can join a group specifically about accommodation. Some people find their housemates that way, or just to ask about the closing dates and payment and all those types of administrative questions. You can join one on visas and immigration if that's something you need assistance on. And we could look to create one specifically for Turkey or for Europe, depending on where students are coming from. There's orientation for all students when they arrive, including campus tours, information sessions, and of course, some social events for you to all get to know each other and to get to know us in the global office and Irish classmates. And we also have a program which is unique to us in Ireland called the First 7 Weeks program. So instead of when you're doing your orientation and getting all of this information within the first couple of days, we spread it out over 7 weeks so that week one is just the information you need for week one. Do you have your timetable? Do you know where your classes are? Then week two might be looking into, say, registering for additional modules. Week three, how to use our state of the art new library, and so on. It's spread out so that it's a little bit of information at a time and makes it a little bit easier for arriving. We have a buddy program, so all international students are assigned an Irish buddy, or not necessarily Irish, just a student who's already studying in the university. And again, that's a nice way to have a peer to ask questions of, where you might want to buy things or do your groceries, or what they recommend in the area. We have over 80 clubs and societies. So, as I mentioned, we already have great sporting facilities. So, there's clubs there for all sports. But if you're not interested in the sporting side, there's a musical society, there are language societies, politics, anime, you name it. There's probably a society, and those are all subsidized. So, they're only very small fees to join initially at the start of the year. And it's a great way to get to know other students and to sometimes go on other trips around Ireland too, including the International Society, which is one of our largest societies and is always, their events are always very well attended and great fun. Friday night unofficially is International Night in the Stables Bar and Restaurant. And then just to also let you know that our Students' Union and our Student Living Service aid with finding volunteering opportunities either on or off campus, and also with a job search if you're looking for part-time jobs. Because we have 16 cafes and restaurants on campus and the library, there's plenty of part-time jobs available. So, in terms of the actual courses, our four main faculties would be, as they are listed here, science and engineering, education and health sciences. That would be to cover your psychology and physiotherapy. Arts, law, and social sciences. So that's your humanities, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of European Studies, and business, of course, which generally business and engineering type courses would be the more rounded general modules for the first year to a year and a half. And then after that, you go into your specialization route. The best place really to find the information is this URL that I have here, ul.ie/courses. You can search by undergraduate, you can search by postgraduate taught, which would be your master's, or postgraduate research, which would be the types of PhDs. That wouldn't be an entire list, but it will give you an idea what types of PhDs we would have on offer. On each page for undergraduate in particular, you'll see a tab with an overview, what you will study, which breaks down all of the exact modules you'll study and what year and what semester. It goes into the entry requirements, it goes into fees and funding, and it also often has a piece from alumni and what they graduated with and what jobs they're in now, just to give you the type of idea of the career prospects that you have after graduating from the course. To give you just a little bit more then on the kind of breakdown of how it works in UL, entry requirements for Turkey. So if you are looking to do your undergraduate, your bachelor's with us, you'll need your high school diploma, and you will also need to complete a foundation program. So, the foundation program, the idea behind that is to make sure that your English and your academic subjects are at a high enough level that you are comfortable going into your undergraduate studies with us at the University of Limerick. So, in terms of the foundation program, it doesn't have to be done with us in Limerick. You could do it in Dublin and then come down to Limerick for your undergraduate. It just needs to be a recognised program. If you're on the IB school system, we need 6 subjects, including a minimum of 2 at higher level. And of those subjects, you must be studying English, maths, and another language. Your total points include your bonus points, and they would range from about 28 points to 32 to 38 being the highest as far as I'm aware. And that would be for psychology, just because there's really, really high demand at the moment. So, for the International Foundation Program, as I mentioned, you don't have to do it with us, but we do require that you do a foundation program. If you'd like to come to Limerick and start your journey with us and do the foundation program, to get into the language school, you need a score of 4 out of 5 on your general, your diploma exams, and then an IELTS of 5.0. The idea then with the program is that it's designed to help bring your English level from 5 up to over 6.5 so that you're comfortable with all your classes. And you also begin to study in the stream that you're going into. So if your plan is to do an undergraduate in business, you also start your core business modules during the foundation year. Likewise, if it's science and engineering or closer to humanities, law, and social sciences. For those of you who may already have a high English level, if you have closer to 6.5 already, in the foundation program, they focus less then on the English and focus more on your core subjects. Sorry, and just to clarify, it's not IELTS specifically that we require. We accept many different English language exams, including Duolingo for this year. Those can all be found on our website, but I just use IELTS as an example. So the foundation year with the University of Limerick is €12,000 and a €50 administration fee. Our undergraduate programs, then you'll find the full list online. It's the same link as I shared earlier. They are 4 years in duration. This is because, one, we encourage study abroad if students want to do a semester in maybe one of our Erasmus European partner universities. And also because there is a mandatory work placement of 6 to 8 months, either in your second or third year, and that is associated with your area of study. So, as I mentioned earlier, it's a great way of gaining practical experience and having something to put on your CV when you finish. All of our courses would generally be structured that you have larger lectures for the core general base subjects, and then smaller group tutorials and labs, which is where if you have any issues or problems and kind of working on assignments, the tutors are all very approachable for questions. There'd be a mixture of individual and group projects, again, depending on what it is that you're studying. And then we have great links with industry and professions. So again, because of our long running work placement program, there's many people who have worked in the industry and then come back into academia and are now lecturers, and vice versa. Some of our lecturers also work at the same time. So it's good for them to bring their knowledge to us and our students in the University of Limerick. I've mentioned there that there are a range of academic scholarships. So, for some courses, it's worth looking at the fees and funding tab because there may be specific scholarships to that program. And then, just to give you again a little bit more information here on the work placement, because it really is a huge selling point for UL, is that it's mandatory across all faculties, but it's great for gaining some professional workplace skills. It's one semester plus usually a little part of your summer, so 6 to 8 months in duration. They are mostly paid. That depends on what you're studying and what job it is. However, it may be it's more of the arts programs. It's more difficult to get paid internships. If you're in business, science, engineering, it's generally a paid program. As I mentioned, it's across all faculties, and we actually have partners in 27 countries. So you can do your work placement in Ireland, but some students choose to go abroad to experience a new country um, while they can during, again, their second or third year with UL. We also host every year a very, very large careers fair, which takes place usually around the start of October in our big sports arena. And that's a great way of either getting ideas of where you might like to do your work placement, but equally the idea being where you might like to work when you graduate. So we have both international and national employers travel to it every year. Students go with their CVs, with their questions, and walk around and talk to all the different employers to get some ideas about their future careers. And just to say as well that we are ranked in the top 200 global universities for graduate employability. And if you'd like, just underneath the picture there, there's a link to some testimonials from international students who've studied with us and have told us about the types of jobs that they have gone on to have as graduates. And again, this is just kind of a sample selection of some of the companies that we work with and that students have done either their work placement with or have graduated to work with. So, if then you are looking at postgraduate, so you want to do your master's with us, you will require a bachelor's degree already from a recognized university. And we say an average grade of CGPA 3 out of 4. Now, there is flexibility there. If you have good reference letters from your teachers, letter of motivation if you want to add it, it will depend on how busy the course is. If the course is already very full, it could be difficult to get in. If there's more room in the course, more flexibility. In terms of English language, again, I'm only using IELTS as an example, but you would require an IELTS of 6.5 to do a master's with us. If, for example, you're close to 6.5 but have less than 6.5 or 6 in one of the components, our English Language Centre on campus could help with pre-sessional English. I don't have prices for that specifically because it's more catered to what it is that you need and would be on a case by case basis. But if you've done your undergraduate with us, then you certainly wouldn't have any trouble with the English. I've put the links there, but again, it's still ul.ie/courses, but we have both taught and research programs. They're 1 or 2 years, but generally the majority of our masters are in 1 year. It's broken into 3 semesters. It's quite an intensive year. So you have your September semester, then you have your spring semester, and then you have the summertime to work on your research project. Again, many links to industries and professions with our professors, lecturers, tutors. For this and for undergraduate, it's a rolling admissions process. So you have until the 1st of July to apply to study with us for the upcoming September. So you still have all of May and June to get your applications together or to ask further questions if there's any more information you need before applying. So, in terms of fees and scholarships for both, so our fees list is linked there. That gives every course that's in the university. You'll notice that it varies across faculties because some programs will have higher costs due to lab work. For example, science and engineering programs are generally a bit more expensive. For undergraduate, it's usually around 12,800 per year for business and arts, humanities, law, social sciences, ranging up to 17,000 per year for the science, engineering, and education, health sciences type courses. For masters, then ranging from about 12,000 to 17,000 for the majority of courses. Some of them are closer to 23,000. Then again, depending on the labs and the intensiveness of the course, what's required from lecturers and tutors and everyone who contributes. Scholarships for the University of Limerick are generally partial merit based scholarships. Once a student submits an application for a program, they're automatically reviewed for scholarship. If you're eligible, then you'll receive the decision at the same time as your offer letter from the university. Again, for postgraduate, it's usually if you've got 3.3 out of 4, so it is quite high, but not inachievable. And for undergraduate, if you maintain a 2.8 in each of your subjects throughout the foundation year, then you'll automatically get your scholarship. It is €1,500 worth of a scholarship for each year of tuition. Further information can be found on our website underneath our international page. And as I mentioned earlier, there are some course specific scholarships, so it's always worth looking at your course overview and the fees and funding section. The Government of Ireland also does do a scholarship, but it is closed for this year. But if there's anyone who is just looking for information now and hoping to study in September 2023, you could look into what's called the Government of Ireland Scholarship. Then, for those of you who would be interested in working to help to fund your studies or to stay in Ireland after you've studied with us, during term time, you can work for 20 hours. Outside of term time, so when it's Christmas holidays and summertime, you can work for 40 hours per week. You do not require an additional work permit for this. Automatically, when you come and register as a student, you will have a work permit to work these hours. Stay back visa options, quite easy. If you study with us for your undergraduate, you can stay in Ireland for 1 year afterwards to work. If you do a master's or postgraduate with us, you can stay back for a full 2 years, 24 months in Ireland to work. And that's it, really, guys. I think that's given you quite an overview. Um, we do host monthly sessions. So I see there's some questions coming in, so that's no problem. Um, if you want, I can. Okay, perfect. Hakan will ask me the questions, and I can hopefully respond to them here. And if not, please do come and chat to me at the booth. But just to let you know, we do a monthly webinar as well. So I've put up the details here of the next one, which is on the 10th of May. You can sign up through our events center on our international page, and it will go through all this kind of information as well, but a little bit more on the visas and the maybe the more specific entry requirements and timelines if you need that type of information. And we also do a Q&A at the end of it as well. So I'll pop up my contact details there, and I'm just going to have a quick look at the questions. I am studying at economics department, and I'm now in first class. If I want to go to this university, what should I do? Well, if you're already in university and want to transfer across, we would need you to send us your transcripts so that we can see what exactly you've already studied in university. And we'd have to compare it then to the Irish program to make sure that you haven't missed out on any modules in the year that you've done. So, really, if it's a transfer type situation, that would be very much a case by case basis. So, you'd have to send us all your transcripts translated so that we can understand. And then also, again, for English language, you'd have to do an English language test. Any of them that we accept, but to give IELTS as an example, 6.5 would be required. Um, Ireland universities in general. For example, such as Germany, do we have a chance to study in government universities without paying school money? Um, I'm not entirely sure about Germany or about the German system, but in Ireland, we have close to 32, I think, universities and technological universities. There's a small number of private colleges, but mostly we would be semi state. And the entry requirements would differ slightly across them, but your main universities would be Trinity College in Dublin, University College Dublin, TU Dublin, and then the University of Limerick, where I'm from, University of Galway in the west, and the University College Cork in the south. So those would be the big ones. But if you wanted to look into Irish universities in general and get more information, the best place for you to go would be education in Ireland.com or maybe .ie, which is the Irish version, um, because they are our government education department and they cover everybody. So there you'll find all the programs and information for each of the universities. What can we do to study this scholarship? So, as I mentioned, unfortunately, we don't have any full scholarships for students. So, when you apply, you're automatically reviewed for scholarship. It would be €1,500 per year of tuition. So, it's not huge, but every little helps in terms of lowering the costs. You don't have to apply separately for the scholarship. So, if you're doing the foundation program to get into bachelor's, you'll automatically be reviewed. If you can kind of keep over 2.8 in each subject, you should get the scholarship. And then for postgraduate, it has to be 3.3 out of 4 cumulative GPA to get the scholarship. Application deadlines, as I said, you don't have to apply separately, but we've a rolling process. So from November each year to the 1st of July is our application process for any undergraduate or postgraduate program. Um, So, I'm here to speak more about the undergraduate and master's programs. However, we do have the Language Centre on campus. So, for anyone who's looking to do work and study abroad, so that's a program whereby you come over for 25 weeks, you get a part time job, and then you also have your English lessons to improve your English and get to practice your English. There's many of these schools in Ireland. So, again, if you were to actually go to that website I mentioned, Education in Ireland, or MEI, Marketing English in Ireland, they would have a list of all the providers of these type of programs so that it's a good balance between learning and working. But if you're interested in the University of Limerick specifically, and coming to our beautiful campus, we have the University of Limerick Language Centre. So you'll find them if you go to our website, or if you want to pop to the booth after this, I can answer questions and send email addresses on too. Um, for the master's scholarship, so as I mentioned, we require a GPA of 3.4 to get into the 3/4, 3 out of 4 to get into masters, though that is flexible. But the scholarship at the moment is set quite high. It would be if you have a GPA of 3.3/4. Whew, I think that's all my questions. So just in general, okay, we're done. That's all our questions. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you calling in to the booth today and coming to my presentation. It's very hard to give a full overview in that amount of time, but I hope I gave you a little bit of a flavour of the University of Limerick and what it is that we offer. For us, that the reasons that most students would choose to study with the University of Limerick outside of the beautiful campus and the lower cost of living in Limerick would be the employability rate, and that the students, especially for undergraduate, have that option to do their or have to do their work placement, but also that we have those links to academics, to professions, and the industry. So for masters too, it's highly recognised that UL students are very employable. It's been lovely chatting to you here today. If you have any other questions, please come to my booth and I can share the relevant links with you or email addresses for further information. And hopefully, we'll see you sometime soon in Ireland. Te Aderim.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the EduCate presentation today. My name is Zoe Yu. I'm from the Global Affairs Office of the Education University of Hong Kong. So as we are waiting for other guests to come in, I will first show you a very short video about our university. The video. Yes. Oops. Can I show the video? Okay, it seems the video is not working. Okay, so I will just go straight into my presentation. Oh, okay, it's working.
And to join us.
Inclusive,
energetic,
Comfortable.
friendly place,
fabulous.
I chose EduHK because university willing to provide support for students to pursue their dreams.
I choose EduHK because I would like to be a teacher.
because EduHK is famous for its education program.
And personally, I'm interested this university research area focus on the social program. And as you know, it is one of the top 10 university in education in Asia.
Professors with high reputation are teaching my favorite major, special education, so this is my choice.
What I appreciate this university most is lots of opportunities to go abroad.
I got a chance to go to the exchange program. For the exchange, I went to UK. Actually got the chance to drown into a totally different culture.
I think the best thing here to study in EduHK is to find myself surrounded by tons of opportunities. Because we have internship here, we have workshop here, and lots of support. If I have a clear way to go, I can always get support from EduHK.
They also have a really good and interesting courses offered by the other department, except from the educational things. And I'm really enjoying my major programs and the other courses offered by the GE, offered by the psychology. These are also interesting courses.
Also, I have made a lot of friends from all over the world. You know what surprised me the most is just how everyone is friendly. Staff, teachers, local friends, non-local friends, just everyone.
I really love our school library, not only because we have lots of high technology devices. We can borrow the 3D printer, the VR and AR devices to make our group project.
So the first advantage is because this is a double degree program. So after 5 years of study, you can have 2 degrees when you graduate. And also, teachers are always willing to help you for planning your courses throughout the 5 years.
The advantage of our program, firstly, it is very international. I have international tutors and I have classmates from 6 different regions of the world. Secondly, we have immersion program, which allow us to stay in an English-speaking country and discover how native speakers use English in their daily life.
If you know what you want, just come to here and strive for it. And if you don't, Edu Hong Kong will help you to find your career path.
If you would like to be a professional educator, join EDUHK.
EDUHK is really a university full of opportunity. So as long as you have dream to pursue and you're willing to face challenges, welcome to EDUHK.
Okay, thanks for that. Let's go back to the slides if we can. Okay, great, thank you. So I will talk in this presentation a little bit about higher education in Hong Kong and why you should choose EduHK as your destination for undergraduate studies. So the cost of study in Hong Kong is relatively affordable in terms of the cost because compared to the other major destinations, for example, the USA, UK, and Australia, you can refer to the yellow bar, which is the average total cost of study and living. It's just around half the price of going to USA. So in terms of affordable quality education, most of our courses here are delivered in English, and you wouldn't have a problem with getting used to the content of the courses or listening to the teachers in the lectures. So also, Hong Kong is located in the heart of Asia, and it is in a very prominent location. We are in the southeast of mainland China, and as you can see in the diagram, within 4 hours, you can reach all of Asia's major cities, and within 5 hours of flight, you can reach half of the world's population. So in Hong Kong, we also have direct flights to other major cities, including Amsterdam, Dubai, Frankfurt, London, Los Angeles, New York, and etc. There are a fusion of cultures in Hong Kong. It is a place that blends both West and East cultures. In the photo here is a very typical scene of Hong Kong street at night. It is hustling and bustling, and it's called a city that never sleeps. So people are still on the street shopping or going to restaurants or hanging out with their friends. Hong Kong is also called the international financial hub of Asia and the world. So here we have a lot of multinational corporations. And in Hong Kong, we also have a lot of different communities from all over the world. For example, we have some Thai communities, we have Vietnam communities, Indonesian, Indian, so on and so on. Also, in Hong Kong, both English and Chinese are official languages. So if you just speak English, it wouldn't be a problem for you because even our taxi drivers, they can speak English here. So in Hong Kong is a very accessible city, I would say, for international students. There are some special immigration arrangements for students who graduate from Hong Kong universities. So no matter if they are studying the bachelor degree, the master degree, or the doctor's degree, when they graduate, they can stay in Hong Kong for 12 months more without any condition. So you can apply for your extension of stay in Hong Kong upon your graduation. Within the 12 months, you can take up any employment without the prior approval of our immigration department. And if you stay in Hong Kong for 7 years in total, you'll be eligible to become a Hong Kong permanent resident. So some students, they study our 5-year education program, and they just add on 2 years of stay in Hong Kong. And then for 7 years, they were able to get the permanent resident status. Hong Kong has a lot of world-class universities. So in the diagram here, these are the 8 publicly funded universities in Hong Kong, and the Education University of Hong Kong is one of them. And 5 among 8 of these universities are ranked top 80 in the world. So for us, we are not quite a comprehensive university. We are more focused on education and teacher training. So we have a ranking in education. So we are the 3rd in Asia and 17th in the world in terms of education by the QS World University Rankings in 2022. We have more than 160 years of experience in providing in-service teacher training. More than 99% of our academic staff, they have doctoral degrees or above. And according to our graduate employment survey in 2020, more than 95% of our graduates were employed or furthering their studies. We have a leading position in the international ranking. As I said, you can refer to the diagram on the right, which is the QS World University Rankings by subject in 2022. We are ranked number 3 in Asia and 17th in the world. And as you can see, number 1 is Hong Kong U, the University of Hong Kong. Number 2 is Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. So if you have heard of the universities on this ranking, you will have a certain level of confidence of our academic integrity and quality. The history of us, I won't go through that in very detail today. So we had our first formalized program in teacher training in 1853. From 1939 to 1982, there were a few colleges of education developed in Hong Kong. And then in 1994, the colleges combined into one called the Hong Kong Institute of Education. And in 2016, we were renamed as the Education University of Hong Kong. This is our campus at a glance. So on the top middle photo, it's a bird's eye view of our whole campus. We are situated in the Tai Po district of Hong Kong, which is in the New Territories, and we are situated actually on a mountain. So on a very fine day, if you're a student here and you live in our student hostels, you will be living at the back buildings, the 3 buildings, one of the 3 buildings at the back, most probably. And if you look out on a very fine day, you can see the sea view in distance. It is a very good place with very great scenery and very good air quality. It's a very ideal place for learning, I would say. So other facilities, we have swimming pools, we have the library, the gym, lecture halls, and soccer fields, and so on. We have 3 faculties and 1 graduate school. I would like you to pay attention to this slide if you're interested in our undergraduate programs. We have 5-year educational programs and 4-year programs. So what's the major difference between these 2 types of programs is the first thing is for the 5-year educational programs, when students graduate, they are allowed to be qualified teachers, and they will register with the Education Bureau of our Hong Kong's SAR government, and they will be able to teach in kindergarten, primary schools, and secondary schools. So the qualified teacher status only comes with our 5-year educational programs upon graduation. So for our 4-year programs, they are normal undergraduate degrees, which will take you 4 years. They will they don't include the qualified teacher status, but some students, they would still ask, so if I want to be a teacher, is there a chance after I study the 4-year programs? If you still want to be a teacher, so some students will go on to take a postgraduate diploma in education, and that will also give you a qualified teacher status to teach in Hong Kong. For our 5-year programs, we have the co-terminal double degree programs and also the single education programs. So for double degree programs, you can study a BA and a BEd in music, in visual arts, or in English. So for education single program, the concentrations are below. It's quite specific. You have to choose your concentration at the time you apply with us. You will be able to have 2 choices. You can register your first choice and your second choice on the application form. So again, for our 5-year educational programs, graduates may become qualified teachers in Hong Kong upon their graduation. For our 4-year programs, these are the ones. We have a Bachelor of Arts in Creative Arts, Music, Visual Arts, Language Studies in Chinese and English, and also Special Education. For the Bachelor of Social Sciences, we have Psychology, and Bachelor of Science, we have Integrated Environmental Management, Artificial Intelligence and Educational Technology, Sports Science and Coaching. So a few of our more popular non-education degrees are Psychology, I would say, Environmental Management. We have new courses this year. It's the Artificial Intelligence and Sports Science program. These 2 are new programs this year on offer. And also for our 4-year programs, you can decide on if you still want to pursue the teacher route, you can also study a PGDE, as I said before, for 1 year. For the global networks of the university, we have more signed agreements with more than 200 partner institutions in more than 30 countries or regions around the world. So they include the very popular regions, including in America, Canada, the USA, in Europe, Austria, Belgium, France, Germany, Poland, Russia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, UK, Turkey. In Asia, Japan, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Pakistan, Singapore, South Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, and also in Oceania, Australia. So why is this important to you? Because this will determine your resources to go out for exchange when you are at the university. So for every undergraduate student, we encourage them to go on exchange for at least 1 semester during their studies at the university. And your overseas learning experience at the university is supported by a fund called Global Learning Experience Enhancement Fund. So it's around 10,000 Hong Kong dollars per student. It will support you to go on at least 1 overseas experience. So for example, there was one example I told you about, the student exchange program just now. We also have others. We have some short-term programs and summer programs which take place during the term breaks and also the summer breaks. As you can see in the photos, these are our students going on some cultural trips, some leadership training trips, and also some teaching trips in the rural areas of China. And also we have service learning and internship opportunities. For internships, I would like to say that our psychology program has a very unique 200-hour internship experience arranged by the university for students. For cultural and language immersion programs, these are quite specific for our language students. For students who are studying the Bachelor of Education in English language or Chinese language, they will be required to go to, for example, if you are studying the English language education program, you'll be required to go to an English-speaking country, for example, the UK or Singapore, to teach English there in local schools to the students in order to fulfill your course requirements. So we have these kind of arrangements for our students for them to become qualified teachers when they graduate. For the graduate prospects, the average initial monthly salary for graduates of our Bachelor of Education program is around 31,000 Hong Kong dollars per month. The currency in Turkish is around $58,000 per month. So our rate of employment and further studies has been on a steady level, 98% or above since 2018. The average initial monthly salary of our graduates have been on a rising trend in these years. So for entrance requirements, to be eligible for admission to our university, you will need to fulfill at least two requirements. The first one is the general academic requirement. The second one is the English language requirement. So for the general academic requirement for students in Turkey, they will need one of the following with at least grade 4 in each of the subjects: the Anatolian High School Diploma, the State High School Diploma, the Private High School Diploma, or Science High School Diploma. So one of these four with at least grade 4 in each of the subject. So if you don't have the Turkey qualification, if you have the other international qualifications, they are also accepted. For example, the SAT, the AP, ACT, GCE A levels, IB diploma. If you hold other qualifications, if you're from other countries, you can scan this QR code or visit our website for more details. So the second requirement is the English language requirement. So most of our students submit their TOEFL or IELTS academic results. For the TOEFL result, for the IBT, it's a score of 80 or above. For IELTS academic, it's a 6 or above. So if you're doing GCA levels, IB diploma, SAT, your English subjects are accepted as well. So if you have other qualifications, you can scan this QR code or visit our website for information. The estimated expenses for 1 year is around 140, for tuition is around 140,000 Hong Kong dollars. So on the right hand side, I put the currency in Turkish for your reference. You should also take into account the expenses for accommodation. That means your living fees on campus. The living expenses, this is estimated. So it depends on every other person. Every person may have different living lifestyle. So for the total expenses, it's around 203,000 Hong Kong dollars per year. And it's around 380,000 in Turkish currency. We also have scholarship opportunities. So for our full scholarship, students can get their full tuition fees subsidized. Also, their on-campus living fees subsidized, and also they will receive an allowance for their pocket money from the university. For the tuition scholarship, we only support the tuition part of your fees. And for the half tuition scholarship, only half of the tuition is sponsored. So a lot of you may ask, how am I eligible for this scholarship? It's actually when you apply with the university, you'll be taken into consideration as an international student. So you don't have to apply separately. So at your interview, the panel, they will consider your eligibility for the entrance scholarship. And if you are awarded with the entrance scholarship for the first year, it is possible to have it for the second year, the third year, and until the last year you study with the university. The general principle is you will need to obtain a GPA of 3.0 or above. So for the application timeline, actually you can scan this QR code in the middle if you want to submit an online application to us. We are here in the middle, around, we are actually in early April already. So around 31st of May in 2022, the application deadline falls on this day. So please make your application to us before the 31st of May this year if you want to enter in September. So in August, we will have our orientation, and in September this year, we'll have our semester 1. So admission procedures. First of all, you need to submit your application, of course. So only the online application on the left-hand side is applicable to you. So for on-site applications, in the days, in the non-pandemic days, I would say, we used to travel. So we will come to you in Turkey or in other parts of the world. We will give you application forms on site, and you can fill it in and give it back to us, and we will take it back to the university to process them. But for this year, we are all committing to online applications. So you need to create an application account on our application system, fill in your personal information, upload supporting documents. So for students who are joining this webinar today, we are offering a special method for you to waive the application fee. But of course, if you accept our offer and you decide to come to your university, when you register with us, you need to pay it back for us, but we're just waiving it temporarily for the moment. So when you go to the payment page, I think it's the second last or the last page of your application, you can click on this button called Other Payment Methods. It's circled in red. And then it will bring you to a page which requires you to key in the payment reference. And you can enter the code, which is GAO_VEF_20220408, which is today's date. So, and our link to the online application system is written in the middle part towards the bottom of the slide. So www.eduhk.hk/online-appl. So after you submit everything, what happens? So if you are invited for an interview, think of possible questions and answers, create a Zoom account because we'll be using Zoom as a platform for interview. Prepare your necessary equipment. So sometimes the panel may say something and you would need to prepare some pen or paper beside you to write it down. Please check your email regularly, and please also give us a correct email because we'll be using the email to contact you for the interview as well as the offer letter if there is any. Practice beforehand. At the interview, be punctual, dress appropriately, be confident, and don't be nervous. And after the interview, please wait for the result, and we will notify the successful applicants by email after the interview. So this is the end of my presentation today. And if you have any inquiries, please contact us anytime. We are the Global Affairs Office. Of course, you can send us an email and we'll reply when we are in the office. You can also call us anytime from 9 to 5, of course, in Hong Kong time. And we have a very professional team of staff that will answer your inquiries. We also have the website, www.eduhk.hk/GAO. This is our Global Affairs Office website. So if we have any latest news and announcements, we will post it on our website as well. So thank you for attending, and I think we can open the floor to questions right now. Please type in the chat box if you have questions. Okay. Don't have any questions. Okay, so no questions at the moment. And if there are no questions, I will just leave the studio.
Corina, sorry for... Awesome. Corina, sorry for interrupting, but we cannot hear you now. Can you check your microphone? No. We cannot hear you. Yeah. Can you click on the settings and go to audio? And you need to select other from the audio settings.
There are some countries without which the world would have a completely different face than the one we know today. I mean, we can all imagine how the world would be without the USA, Great Britain, or Italy. A world without hamburgers, corporations, the UN, tea-based rituals, big clocks named Ben, pizza, pasta, romantic songs, and why not, picturesque mob movies. The list could go on forever, but we have just one question. How many of you have tried to think of a world without Romania? For those of you who haven't, take a good look onward. To begin with, try to imagine writing your entire life with only a pencil. Not so convenient, is it? In case you didn't know, and we're sure you didn't, the fountain pen was invented by a Romanian professor named Petrache Poinaru. His invention was patented by the French government in May 1827. Dr. Stefan Odobleja, another illustrious Romanian scientist, is renowned as the father of cybernetics. Practically, he's the inventor of modern cybernetics, and the first to state that cybernetics originates in psychology. Nicolae Paulescu, a Romanian physiologist, invented insulin, a very controversial invention initially and very much disregarded. Only 50 years later, after two Canadians received a Nobel for the same invention, was Nicolae Paulescu's precedence finally recognized, and he was rightfully acknowledged as the true inventor of insulin. As in the 20th century, time was the key word for solving anything. The jet plane, invented by Henry Coanda, was one of the most revolutionary inventions ever. Without him, the jet plane would probably have been invented much later. Without a Romanian gymnast, the computers wouldn't have had the possibility to learn to display a perfect 10. Nadia Comaneci got the first 10 in the history of gymnastics in Montreal, 1976. Imagine Bram Stoker trying to find a count in order to write his bestseller, and Hollywood craving for a vampire to put him on the big screen. So they would all have to thank Vlad Tepes, the Romanian medieval ruler, who had the bad luck of becoming the bloodthirsty demon of modern times. Probably a long time would have passed until someone may have thought of writing a complete history of religions. Mircea Eliade was the first in the world to do it. All around the world, nobody would have thought of mocking a serious matter like death. Natively creative, the Romanians have their own way of dealing with it, by laughing in its face. We are the first nation to have a happy graveyard, renowned for its storytelling funeral plates. Unless UEFA had approved a 1-meter-wide goal, nobody would have been able to defend 4 penalty strikes in a row. This performance by Romanian goalkeeper Helmut Ducadam granted Steaua Bucharest the Champions Cup in 1986. Hey, Mr. Bill Gates, we want to congratulate you for being the richest man in the world. But let's put it this way, you owe us big time. The second spoken language in your company is Romanian. Repeat after me, mulțumesc. Thank you, that is. But let's move on to other gates, more pleasant ones this time. The gates in Maramureș are unique in the world for their architecture, so take a glimpse. If we're good at one thing, it's having a good time. Gastronomically speaking, we are the proud owners of the most mouth-pleasing dishes in the world. And if you try these, we kindly recommend you to feast your senses on our world-renowned wines with a history of centuries. The history of art would have been many pages thinner without the contribution of such a great sculptor as Brancusi. Brancusi did much to encourage a revival of carving and great respect for an artist's materials. Brancusi's sculptures are rightly now considered to be the work of a modern master. Another great Romanian contribution to architecture is the Brâncovenesque style, a unique style renowned worldwide. Americans have one thing to thank us for, their national sport. Because while other people were chasing wild goats in order to constitute a national sport, Romanians invented the godfather of baseball, a sort of baseball that is, called the Uina, which was first attested to in 1364. Last but not least, we have to admit that all the great minds behind all these achievements owe a great deal to the one thing that binds us all. That very special thing that relishes us, that makes us get new friends, that comes with us to football matches, that likes to stay with us at family reunions, that likes Christmas, Labor Day, and all our thirsty mates, and that brought us here today. Excellent beer.